Good Monday morning to you. Oh, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here. Got the tractor uncovered. When I used it the other day, the day I was mentioning about losing power and everything, it smoked blue smoke all of a sudden. I hope we don't have troubles with it, but I did top off the oil. And I always fill it on that little crosshatch where there's a hole on the lower part and a hole on the upper part of the crosshatch. And I always fill it so that it comes to the upper hole on the crosshatch, on the dipstick, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, this time it's down to the lower hole, so I left it there. So I'm going to, hopefully it doesn't smoke. It usually smokes just a little bit when you first start it, but this was continuously smoking when I was doing the backyard the other day. And because the ground is so uneven, what little grass there is, it just gets scooped up. Because I gotta raise the mowing deck as high as possible when I'm doing the backyard here. And in the front, I can lower it down 2 notches before the lowest. In other words, not the lowest, but the one next to it. So what I got here, I'm going to set you up on a little tripod here. I turned the gas on. Now, I didn't record this. I took my clamps off here. It's not leaking. This was not getting gas, and it still don't look like there's gas in there. So I unhooked this, and this thing is working. Gas is coming out. But this always has gas in it. Of course, I can't see with my eyes on it anyways, but this has been turned on now for about 15-20 minutes. So there should be plenty of time to get the gas in there. I have not checked the oil, but usually I add a little oil, because usually on the crosshatch, which you're not going to be able to see because I got the ZE one, you're not going to be able to see that. So I'm not even going to try to show it to you. You just take my word for it. I usually have to add a little bit to fill it to the top hole on the crosshatch, okay, on the dipstick. So I'm not going to do that this time. When I shut it off and I checked it again, it was down to the lower hole in the crosshatch, which would mean that you'd want to add oil. At least I would think so. But I'm not going to do that. I want to just see if it smokes. It's not leaking from the valve cover. It's not dripping on the muffler. I watched a video about a rider mower smoking, and that particular tractor he was working on, I didn't finish watching it because it was like 10:30 at night, and I figured I'd watch it later, and I'll put it on later today. That one needed a head gasket. I hope I don't need any more problems. I did not get it. I don't think I got a good deal on this at all. But we'll find out. We'll find out, because we're going to give it a start up. I got to get you on a tripod. I'm going to do the front yard only. It really doesn't need to be mowed. There's really nothing there. I'm going to get you on a tripod in this area here, and then I'm going to take you over to the yard and set you on a tripod, and you can watch me go around the yard with it. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be smoking, and if it is, then that's the story of my life. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. Tires are holding up very well. No problems whatsoever. Gas tank is about 1/3 full, with stable in it. So let me get you set up. I'll set you up over here. And you can watch me start it up. Okay. Now, like I say, that gas cock has been on for a while now, but since I put that gas shutoff in there, it's taken a long time for this to start. So if there's going to be a problem with that, I'm going to remove the gas shutoff. even though it's working good, I guess it needs gas in the lines at all times, because the solenoid will shut it off anyways. But I put it in because I'd rather have it, carburetor empty and no gas in it. But let's give it a try. We'll start it here, and then I'm going to go around the house, and I'll catch you on the next side. think I got burned on this one. On that. It's running like crap now. Yeah, I hear it. Is that a gas? No. It's got, it's covered the hole in the inlet. I don't know. It was fine when I first started it. It ain't great. I mean, I bought a spare carburetor off of eBay before that I have not put in yet, but always works. Huh. One of them full chokers. And the park owner came over and helped me out with this. He knows more about these things than I do. This pulley here, if you remember, I told you that the guy that I got the tractor from replaced this spindle. But this pulley was always loose, you know, and the park owner told me that shouldn't be like that. It's tight now and it spins. So what happened is you heard some of that noise, and I don't mean the backfiring and the lousy performance. I don't know what happened with why that was doing it. This got to a point, this got so loose that it was no longer turning the blade on this side. That's what all that noise was. Now it's turning the blade. We pulled this off. He helped me, he jammed a piece of wood up underneath to hold the blade. I took this off with a socket wrench. And this pulley does not have a spline on it. It's a smooth surface, not a roller bearing. It's just a smooth, I'm not going to take it off to show you. Take my word for it, that's what it is. And there's no spline on this, just threads. And there's a big thick washer underneath this. So he put the wood on, he jammed a piece of wood under there, and I tightened this right down. And now I can hear the blade, I can feel the momentum of the blade underneath. So in other words, it's working. We still do not have this on here, and the park owner says I wouldn't take this deck down. It's a bear. He's had trouble. You don't have the same one, but he had another brand of mower, and it was an SOB taking the deck off. I've done it on the Murray, but I don't want to take it off of this and try to fix this thing, which I was told is a brake and it's just on wrong. Okay, so it's no longer making that noise. I drove it around the backyard here a little bit. It was perfect. Now, see the gas in here? See that? That's because I left this on. If I shut this off, let it run out of gas, this will stay empty. And it's an SOB to start. It just will not start. I've taken this off. The gas cock works just fine. The gas pours out of here. So I might not be able to use the shutoff. Now, what I did when I first started up the mower today, I remember telling you on the beginning of this video that it's been about 15 or 20 minutes and this cock was turned on, but there was still no gas in here. But it did start after a few times trying it. So I don't know, maybe I just should leave this on and just not worry about it and just use this to drain the tank in the winter time. So in other words, unhook this and just drain it, use it for shut off that way. Or when I'm ready to put it away, run it out of gas, disconnect this, put a container under it, drain the gas for the winter. So right now, as you can see, it's got a half of a filter of gas. See it? You can see it moving here. If I was to shut this off, start the engine, let it run out of gas here, okay? Then turn this back on. This will stay empty. No idea why. You might be able to see it. I added a little more gas to that little dark area, that little round thing towards the right. That's the inlet where the hose nipple connects to. Okay? Now that was covered at all times with gas. So I added more gas to it, and maybe that's why it's now running good. It still smokes, but as you might have seen from a distance when I was running this, it backfired and popped and everything else, and then I get a puff of white smoke coming out. Well, that's probably the gas. But I'm getting a constant blue smoke from the muffler, and it's not dripping from here. It's coming out. In other words, it's burning oil. And the dipstick is on the lower hole on the dipstick oil level with on the crosshatch. So in other words, you normally want to add a little at that point. I have not added it. And I'm going to start it up again. And it'll set you down on a sturdy area here. And we're going to start it again. It should start right up. I'm not sure if you need the choke or not. I guess I can try it both ways. We'll put it up in the normal range. Now I was having a lot of problems. I was playing around with this to get it to stop popping and everything else. I'm going to peek on the spring. I hope the spring didn't come off on the choke, and that could be the problem too. Nope, it's still on. You can see it. Hey, choke, run, choke, run. Because the butterfly binds, and I tried freeing it up and it didn't make any difference. Okay, so let's give it a start up. They're doing mowing across the street. The town is mowing, I believe. That's what you're hearing in the background. Okay, I've got the gas shut off, turned off. We're going to let it run out of gas because I won't be using this again for another week or so. I'll have to remember when I go to use it to put the gas cock, turn the gas on about an hour before I'm ready to use it. That way I surely get the gas in there. Okay, it's running out of gas now. Okay, I'll just have to remember to turn this on about an hour before I go to use it. There's still gas in there. Now you heard it, it died out. Oh yeah, they're mowing over there. See you probably can see them through the trees. All right, so you heard when I turned on the deck, nice and quiet. You know, Freddie told me, that's my park owner, he's a great guy, he's very helpful. He says, I was going to holler to you. Something's breaking, something's going on in this thing. Shut it off and check it out. And it was, apparently this stopped turning the blade because this thing was loose. I thought it was normal to be loose. I don't know. And it got to a point where it wasn't turning the blade anymore. And like I say, there is no spline on that pulley. And there's no spline on the spindle. This is the spindle the guy replaced. He got from eBay, he said. All it is a threaded rod coming up with a thick washer underneath this pulley. Then the pulley sits on it, and then you got that nut right there. I think he said a 7/8, I'm not sure. So I tightened it down good, and I checked. It's lukewarm. Not now, it isn't, but when it was running, not hot. So the reason I didn't tighten it before is because I thought it was supposed to be loose. Whether it's the right pulley or not, I don't know, but right now it's working perfectly. So I think maybe, my opinion, and I think Freddie agrees with me, the reason it's not splined is if you hit a rock or a big heavy branch or root or something, the blade will stop and you're not going to burn out your belts, the pulley will slip. So a combination of both probably is a safety feature they purposely designed. So therefore, you don't have a spline on it. Sorry for the sideways video, but on the discharge chute side, this is an original pulley. This was not replaced, spindle I should say, and pulley. Now we didn't take it off to find out if that is splined or not splined. I really don't know. Got a lot of accumulation of crap though. By the way, my son Tommy and I went to Jewett City yesterday, and these are brand new in a package. $5, 12-inch channel lock. Well, channel lock is a brand, but I didn't have anything that big. Okay, I got a lot of editing to do. While Fred was helping me with the mowing deck, the video probably was going for a good 45 minutes in the front yard, so I'm going to be editing and chopping a lot of that out, and probably speeding up some of the driving video of the tractor. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to close up now, and I guess to come and do this side. So anyways, that concludes the video. I don't know why this was running so bad. It lost all power and everything else. And it was not out of gas. And that's fairly level ground out there in the front yard. So the outlet hole was covered with gas in the bottom of the gas tank. But it seemed to be better when I added more gas to it. I didn't put a lot in it because I don't mow that much. And who knows, it may be one more time this year I'll be using it, because as you can see, there's not much growth here. Alright. I really should try to fix that break down at the bottom. But I don't envy anyone taking the deck off if you're experienced with it. As long as it's cutting grass and I don't have any more problem with that pulley, should be alright. Alright, that concludes the video. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, I guess the next few days it's going to rain, so I wanted to get this done today.